Hey folks, Craig Danger, Final Record Player. Oh, back again. Today I'm doing what threatens to be one of my least watched videos in the history of the Craig Danger channel. It's just the way it goes, friends. It is what it is, but today we're talking about 5, I think, must-have live soul LPs, which, one doesn't always think about in terms of live LPs. One doesn't always think, oh, what about this soul artist? Well, you know what? You need to think again if that's your mindset. In fact, there is some fantastic performances recorded live from soul performers. Today I'm going to show you 5 of those albums. And you know what? You stick around to the end, I'll hit you with I think a rock solid bonus. In fact, probably one of my favorite recent acquisitions. You know the drill at the Craig Danger channel. You'll want to grab yourself a chair and make sure to buckle up. And we're back. So let's talk about some fantastic, I think, soul LPs, live LPs, really good stuff. We'll start with the whitest of the selections, if we could, with Delaney and Bonnie and Friends on tour with Eric Clapton from 1970. This one, I think, it's fair to call this what they might call a blue-eyed soul album or a white person soul album, whatever you want to call it. It is soul, very gospel-y sort of vibes coming from Delaney Bramlett and, of course, his wife at the time, Bonnie Bramlett. Of course, Eric Clapton toured with them as well. This was around the time of the sort of roots rock explosion that was kind of brought on by the band and their album Songs from Big Pink. But of course, and look at this band on the back. Look at that. That couldn't be more 69, 70 if it tried. Obviously, some fantastic players. You have Bobby Whitlock on the keyboards. He usually plays the M1 organ. I would also recommend, actually, if you are looking for sort of music-related material, particularly surrounding Delaney and Bonnie, Bobby Whitlock actually has his own channel. I'll put the link in the comments. Check him out. He tells a lot of really great stories about that era. Obviously, Eric Clapton. You got Bobby Keys. You have Jim Gordon on drums. Oh, love Jim Gordon. A little bit of maybe not mentally the most stable guy ever. Unfortunately, I've repeated that story too many times. I don't want to talk about Jim Gordon. I'm here to talk about Delaney and Bonnie on tour with Eric Clapton. So anyway, this is a really, really good record, recorded on a tour of England with, of course, Eric Clapton. For me, I think the key track on this one is Poor Elijah, which unfortunately I don't think they ever really did a studio version of. There's also a great version of Poor Elijah with Eric Clapton at the BBC on YouTube. That's definitely worth giving a listen to. It's an acoustic version. The electric one is on this one. But I mean, you got Only You Know and I Know. Coming Home is a ripper on this one. There's actually also, if you have heard this album, there is also I think it was probably in the early 2000s, they released a compact disc version. Really sort of an extended version. So they have, I think it's like 2 or 3 dates that they recorded, put them on a disc, on like a 2 or 3 disc set. That one is also available on streaming, on like YouTube Music and stuff. And, that one's really good. There's some cooking versions. But I think they selected kind of the best versions here. I have no problem with the selections that they made. The only ones I think I would say that I maybe don't love, they do a Little Richard medley on this, which is okay. But otherwise this is kind of cover to cover greatness. Definitely worthy of a pickup. And a little bit of blue-eyed soul to start off this jam. And just wanted to thank everybody for liking and subscribing. Obviously these things help a lot. The more you like, the more likely other people can see the videos and we can grow the channel a little bit. And then it's not just me speaking to my telephone. But anyway, in the comments, what live soul album knocks your socks off? What's an absolute cooker that the Craig Danger is missing today? I'd love to know, so put it in the comments. Before we head to, what could only be called a legendary LP, how about the Isleys Live from 1973? This is a double record set, actually. Got a bunch of all the hits of the time. Look at that gatefold. Ooh. Woo, looking good, brothers. Oh, look at the hat. Oh, the hat is a winner. Obviously, and then look at these gentlemen on the back. Always quality. But it's a great album. Really fun. Kind of gives you that kind of I'm at the concert kind of a vibe. Ernie Isley, still one of the live brothers, is ripping all over this. There's some really fantastic guitar. But yeah, it's work to do. Love the One You're With. A really fantastic version. I would say up there. I mean, obviously there are other, and I will speak about it, versions of Love the One You're With that I think are maybe a little superior, but this one is really great. The Layaway version is red hot. Machine Gun, It's Your Thing. This is kind of peak Isley's for me. Certainly later into the 70s, they did some super classics as well, more heavier into the funk stuff. But this was kind of that era where they kind of put their own spin on a lot of rock and roll covers, and they did a really fantastic job, as well as obviously their own songs, which are, in this era, I think is really fantastic. This would be right around the Brother era, before 3+3, which again, any album from the Isleys in the 1970s, I just don't think you're going to lose on. These are all really good records, and you want to talk about cheap. You can get most of these for under 10. This one I have not seen very much, and actually vinyl community legend, I would call him, Harris Pilton, has commented many a time on how he's been looking for this one, and it's hard to find. So I don't know. I bought this one probably coming on 20 years ago, but it's a really good one, and it's a double. Which again, most of the LPs here, actually I think all of them except for this one, are not double live albums. And I mean, obviously it's the 70s. Double live albums are chic. They're the happening. Good one, but from the Isleys. If you see this one, you should pick it up, because like I say, I have not seen it very often. There are a lot of their 70s albums that are out there that you can get in the bins and stuff, but this one is one that I've almost never seen. And like I say, I bought this maybe 20 years ago. So the Isleys Live, absolute danger-approved classic from, I think it's about 1973 is my thinking. This one's weird. Let's talk about Curtis in Chicago. Recorded live. This one, oh, look at that. Oh, look at this. Oh, always great with the gatefold are the Curtis Mayfield LPs. And then, of course, you got this on the back. This is an interesting sort of concert. This one is not just Curtis Mayfield, but in fact also features the original Impressions, Leroy Hudson, of course, who would replace Curtis Mayfield in the Impressions later, when Curtis went solo and blew up with Superfly. But it's a really fun record. And you know what? I hate to even say it, but I'm going to. Who's a key performer on this record? How about my man, always, the Iceman, Jerry Butler, recording a version of course, For Your Precious Love on this one. Ooh! Boom! What a performance. Absolutely stunning. Obviously, Curtis Mayfield playing, and obviously Curtis Mayfield had played with Jerry Butler, because, of course, the story of Jerry Butler leaving the Impressions was basically when they recorded For Your Precious Love, their first hit, and I think it was probably one of their biggest hits. Basically, the label owner was like, well, we'll call him Jerry Butler in the Impressions. And basically from there, the Impressions kind of broke up because they were pissed off, because they were like, well, what's with this Jerry Butler and the Impressions? Labels tended to do that back then because they figured, well, if the band breaks up, we can say, oh, well, Jerry Butler. So Jerry Butler goes solo. Curtis Mayfield kind of continues to play with him for at least the first couple of years, also writes songs for him. Anyway, this is like a callback, a kind of like an anniversary. A lot of really kind of good, friendly, jovial vibes on this record, with of course the Impressions backing almost everything on this. But yeah, no, like I say, the For Your Precious Love is good, but of course on this one we also have Superfly, If I Were a Child Again, Once in My Life, Preacher Man, which of course would have been around that 71 to 72 period, probably fronted by, of course, Leroy Hudson. So yeah, This is a fun record. It's I don't think that it's necessarily like a super must-have, but like I say, that version of Jerry Butler doing "For Your Precious Love" is an absolute scorcher, particularly because again, this is the 1970s. There is a live Jerry album from I think it's 67, 68. The recording is not that great, and frankly, I would have loved, and I mean, I'm hoping, and if Jerry Butler, if you're out there, how about releasing something from the 70s live? Because, cooking era, and unfortunately, great document of Jerry on this, but this is fun. It really is kind of like I say, a very kind of reunion kind of a vibe where everyone's getting together in Chicago and celebrating the genius of Curtis Mayfield, like I say, around 71, 72, I would say. Curtis in Chicago recorded live. I would call this a must-have live soul LP. And what are we talking about? Obviously, if you've ever been a watcher of the Craig Danger, you know that, live at Fillmore West, Aretha Franklin could only be my favorite live album of all time. I mean, fantastic record. This one's actually still available as well. As you can see, look at the magical sort of, you can feel that. Live at Fillmore West in San Francisco, California. But yeah, this one, cover to cover cooker, fantastic players. As I mentioned many a time on this channel, Billy Preston on the keys. I think one of the best keyboard players ever. I'm going to go ahead and say that. And also Bernard Purdie on drums, just ripping it up. King Curtis on saxophone. Ray Charles makes a appearance, and of course, you got respect, in my opinion, with all due respect to the Isley Brothers, who have a version on Isley's Live. Love the One You're With by Aretha is an absolute smoker. With also due respect to Stephen Stills, who wrote the song and released his own version, obviously. This version still kills it, slays it, beats it, and then lights it on fire. Just is what it is. But obviously, I Want to Make It With You is good. Eleanor Rigby on this one. Dr. Feelgood. Yeah. There's no bad tracks on this. And this is peak Aretha. Recorded, I believe, in middle 71, released in late 71. Aretha live at the Fillmore West. Craig Danger approved because basically it's my favorite live album ever. It's just absolutely scorching. If you are an Aretha fan and you don't have this, please, this is as raw of Aretha as you're going to get. Really great record. Live at the Fillmore West from 71, Aretha Franklin, one of the 5 must-have and I think best live albums, live soul albums ever. Hard to beat this one, friends. How about Otis Redding live in Europe? Of course, I think this we're going to record around like 66, 67 in Europe. Of course, the entire Stax Records band goes with him. I believe also Sam and Dave were on that tour, as well as Eddie Floyd. This stuff, though, is this is really kind of classic Otis. The thing about Otis is that his studio records are fantastic, and they are not. You should have all of them anyway. But his live stuff, it's just kind of such a shame that he passed. He died in a plane crash in late '67. But basically, like his entire backup band, the Bar-Kays, except for like one gentleman who was a trumpet player. He's the only guy who survived. Tragic story, particularly when you listen to a record like this, because you're like, man, like just his live, the energy here, the pain in this man's voice is incredible. It's really incredible. So this one is a little bit more of an upbeat set. Of course, you got Respect. I Can't Turn You Loose. That's hot. My Girl. I wouldn't have chosen that one, but it is what it is. Satisfaction. Obviously, on the B, we have more of a balancing, like These Arms of Mine. Obviously, Try a Little Tenderness is also an amazing cooker. But yeah, this is definitely worth a pickup. I'm not sure. I've not seen it around all that much lately. I probably bought this, like I say, about 20 years ago. But it is really, in my opinion, one of the best soul performers ever. Unfortunately, like I say, very short career. Because unfortunately, he died in a plane crash. It's like, oh, why? But like I say, it is captured here. And this kind of gives you a sense of what really kind of broke him through. because in '67, I think as well, he was at the Monterey Pop Festival, and yeah, he was a giant hit there. And everyone who saw him was like, "Oh, that was the best thing we saw, best thing we saw at that festival." So Otis Redding live in Europe, a fantastic document of an absolute legend. Simple as that. And let's hit you with a bonus on this one. I mean, why not? We'll go a little wild today here on the Danger Channel. Not that we're prone to do that, but now and again, now and again. How about Bill Withers live at Carnegie Hall? Woo, this one's good. This one's real good. This would be like, I think recorded around 72, 73. This is a double album, actually. And like really nice gatefold. This is on the Sussex label. Of course, this is one of those records that, yeah, it's very hard to find an original copy of this big dog. But yeah, you want to talk about a really fantastic performance. The Use Me, the way he starts this one with Use Me is just incredible, because basically he does the song and then he comes back and kind of does half of the song again. And it's just like, whoa, whoa, yes. But Bill's, he's funking it up all over this one. Obviously, Lean On Me on this one, of course. Let Us Alone, Harlem, and Cole Bologna. Cole Bologna, yeah. You know what? Cole Bologna, obviously, I believe that's an Isley Brothers track as well. But yeah, this is peak Bill. Like I say, around, I think this was released in 73, as far as I recall. But this will be after his really kind of legendary first two albums, I believe is Just As I Am and Still Bill. I'm still looking for a copy of Still Bill. Ooh, not easy to find out there, because who wants to get rid of their Bill Withers records? Not me, not me. I'm keeping. But yeah, this one I did get on from Amazon. Really good record, and yeah, it's like I say, double record, and really a fantastic live document of Bill Withers live at Carnegie Hall from 1973. So yeah, that'll be it for 5 absolutely must-have live soul albums. Certainly those are the ones that I have. Are there other ones? Hey, like and subscribe in the comments. Let me know. What do you think? Are there any albums that I missed? I know there are. I mean, I only mentioned 5. But yeah, let me know what you think. And hey, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to see you on the next one.